Well, hello, everybody. I just want to welcome our Facebook family, our YouTube family. Listen, if you are on YouTube right now, we need about 20 subscribers to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is BHAM BC. That's B as in boy, Ham, B as in boy, and C. That would help us out tremendously. Well, listen, family, this morning we are having our very first etiquette virtual class. And some of you remember, at least the ones who are on right now, we had an in-person etiquette class. And so it was, of course, in person, and the kids learned about how to set a table, how to eat at a table. They learned about telephone skills. The boys learned to pull out their chair, pull out the ladies' chair. And so it was really great. But everybody know that COVID came, and so we had to do some things a little differently. But we wanted all of our children to have a refresher course. We want them to still be learning, even in this virtual process, especially with a lot of things that's going on right now. And so some children, of course, are in person, and then we have some that are virtual as well. And so with that, we just wanted to make sure we are just mindful of the times. And so we decided to bring some really good speakers. And so we're excited for that on today. And so children, don't say anything, keep your devices muted. But how many of y'all have been staying up late?
I have.
I know. I have to, amen. I have to. And when we were in school, were y'all on the schedule? Raise your hand if y'all on a schedule. Yep. Your parents said go to bed at a certain time. You had to wake up at a certain time. And so now that we're not on a schedule, we're kind of taking baths whenever. Some of us today, tomorrow, I don't know, 2 days, 2 days later. But and then I talked to a dentist, and I don't know if y'all have experienced this, but he said when kids were allowed to come back to the dentist, they had more cavities. Uh-oh. That means some of them may not have been brushing their teeth, as regular as they should, because they're staying up late. They fall asleep in the bed and they have not brushed their teeth. So all of us have been on schedule. I mean, not just y'all kids. I mean, we've been adults been on schedule too. So we just want to make sure we bring back some of those skills, some of those virtual skills that y'all are going to need, and to learn just how manners are just important. It is so important, y'all, to have good manners, because if you don't have good manners, sometimes it can reflect if you have friends or not. It can reflect if you keep a job or have a job or get a job. So manners are very important. People look at you based on if you have good manners. And so we have some awesome speakers today. We are not going to hold y'all too long on today, but we have some great speakers. We have, and this is not in the order they're coming in, but we have Miss Shada. She lives in Atlanta, but she works for the Atlanta Police Department, and she's going to teach us about communication skills. Miss Nellie is, y'all know Miss Nellie. She's a Mary Kay consultant. So she's going to help us with our self-care, our personal hygiene. Miss Karen Derrick, she works for the Hoover City Schools, and so she is an expert on technology. So she's going to talk to you about cell phones. I know some of you have cell phones, so she's going to talk to you about that and how to use it and how to use it correctly. And then Miss Monique, y'all, some of y'all know her too. She is a school teacher here in Birmingham, Alabama. So she's going to show y'all really how to act on Zoom. It's a little different because we're not in a school, some of us, and so we're not having to sit down, pay attention. We got a whole lot of leeway. We can get up and do whatever. So she's going to tell us how to do that even correctly. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Nellie on first. So Miss Nellie, I'm going to pull up your PowerPoint, but you can go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. It's good to see everyone today. So, I am Nellie. I am a Mary Kay consultant, and most of you know me. I am Kaylin's mom. So, today we're just going to talk a little bit about personal hygiene. Um, Personal hygiene basically is how you keep your body clean and healthy. And there's many, many ways that you can do this. Okay. So, up first, let's see. Okay,
And then
personal
just
hygiene is defined as the principle of maintaining cleanliness and grooming of the external body, what people see. So you maintain your hygiene, guess what? Your confidence is going to go up. You're going to look nice, you're going to feel good, and that's going to show on the outside. You'll be more friendly. You okay, so if you didn't take a bath or you didn't brush your teeth, you're not going to talk to anybody when you go to school, right? So when you take care of yourself, that gives you more confidence. You can go to people, you can say, hey, how are you? Have a conversation. You'll just feel better about yourself. All right. So let's talk about poor personal hygiene, not taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you have a higher chance of getting sick. Because guess what? If you don't keep your hands clean, we know right now we're dealing with COVID. So if you don't keep your hands clean, that means you're gonna have germs. And that's the higher chance of you getting colds, flu, maybe even COVID. But we know we're not gonna catch COVID because we're gonna keep our hands clean. We're not gonna touch on our face. You're not gonna, rub your eyes too much. And when you don't take care of yourself, guess what? You're gonna be embarrassed. I remember last hygiene class we had, last etiquette class. I think it was me and Miss Allison. We told you, like, if you don't take care of yourself, for example, if you don't take a shower and you don't put on deodorant, what's gonna happen? You're gonna be musty. Nobody likes to be around somebody that smells or what they call BO. So you don't want to give people a reason to talk about you. So you take care of yourself, you go to school, no worries. But if you go to school and you're not clean, if your breath smells bad because you didn't brush your teeth, if you're musty because you didn't put on deodorant, those things will have people talking about you. They shouldn't, but you don't want to do something that you can do to protect yourself and to keep yourself together and not give somebody a reason to talk about you. So on the next slide, we have, okay, so some things that you can do to take care of your personal hygiene. You can bathe regularly. Twice a day is preferred. In the summertime, I know me and Kaylin take at least 4 or 5 showers a day because it's hot and you get sweaty. So you want to bathe regularly. You keep your hands and your nails clean. I know I personally, I have longer nails. If you have longer nails, girls, keep them clean. Boys, I'm telling you, when you get older, the first thing women look at are your shoes and your hands. If you have dirty fingernails, no woman likes that. Girls, no guy wants to date a girl that has dirty fingernails. It's not clean. No, we don't do that. Teeth care, brush your teeth twice a day. More if you eat sugary stuff. I know I try to get Kaylin to brush her teeth after she eats little snacks and stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but she is required to brush her teeth at least twice a day. Ear care. Now, I know a lot of people clean their ears with Q-tips. Guess what? That's not necessarily the best way because if you do have something down in your ear, you can push it further down and it can get stuck. So it's best to just clean the outside of your ear, like just stick the rag right in the opening. Don't stick anything down in your ear. Okay, hair care, we're supposed to, you need to brush your hair every day. Girls, you need to comb your hair every day. If your hair gets done, braided, you need to keep your scalp oiled. We African Americans have tend to get oily or drier scalp, so you have to keep your scalp oiled, keep your scalp clean. Feet care. A lot of people get in the bath and they just wash the top of your feet. No, 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 no. You need to wash in between your toes, get the arch of your foot. You need to clean in between those toes really, really well and dry your feet really well. Because if you don't, athletes' feet, it itches, it stinks, it's not fun. And your clothing, you need to make sure. I know me, I don't iron a lot. I throw my clothes in the dryer to, to knock the wrinkles out. But I make sure I iron Kellen's clothes every day. You want to make sure your clothes don't have any holes. You don't want to have any stains. You want to always have that appearance that you're put together. Bathe regularly. Soap. How many of you use loofahs in the shower, the little sponges? Who all uses those? You don't? Okay. If you do, you need to change those out at least every month. Don't keep those things for 6, 7 months. It holds germs, it holds bacteria. You want to change those out regularly. Your face cloths and your towels, you need to change those. Like, I don't think anybody on here is, well, Madison may be old enough to wear the makeup, but if you're wearing makeup, you need to change those out every day. If you're not wearing makeup, you're taking a shower, bath, you can go like every 2, 3 days and change those out. That's okay. But if you use it over and over and over and over, those dead skin cells and stuff that you're drying off, that's going to get in your towel and that's going to cause skin irritation, rashes, and we don't want that. So make sure you change those out regularly.
Hey, Miss Nelly, I had a question. I don't know if you're going to address this or not. I saw you holding up a white one. Can you talk
Yes,
about a white washcloth?
yes. I used to like to only use white washcloths and bath towels because the ones with that are blue, brown, they have a lot of dyes in them. So when you're washing, every time water gets in that dye is going to get on your skin. So you don't want to put that dye and stuff on your skin because that may irritate your skin. So it's best to only use a white washcloth. And for my girls,
Mhm.
surprisingly or not, it's best to just use your hands to wash in your private areas. Because if you, I wash my towels in Clorox and laundry detergent. So you don't want to get that Clorox in your private area and cause irritation. So it's best to use your hands to wash in your private area. And that goes for girls and guys. You don't want to wash with a cloth necessarily because you don't want to cause yourself irritation. But always use white. You don't want that dye on your skin. Hands. Who washes their hands? How long do you wash your hands?
1 minute.
Yes. You can do 1 minute, or guess what? You can sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. One round of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Do not rush through Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Sing it at the appropriate speed, and you need to wash your hands while you're singing that song. Okay? This is how you wash your hands. You wet your hands, you put some soap in your hand, and then you scrub both sides of your hands. Now, Miss Nellie also works in the hospital. I'm a respiratory therapist. So I have learned that when you wash your hands, you get in between your fingers like this, your thumb, you go all the way back to about that far up your wrist. So you have to wash completely. Do not, do not, do not. Once you rinse your hands off, don't just reach up there and turn it off with your hand. Because guess what? Your hands were dirty when you touched the faucet, right? So if you go back after you've washed your hands and touch that same faucet, guess what? Your hands are back dirty again. So either try to use your elbow if you can, or go ahead and dry your hands and take a paper towel and turn off the faucet. You got it? Thumbs up, you got it. Good deal. All right. Nails. Like I said, no one likes dirty nails. Not girls, not guys. Your nails should not be dirty. So you can soak. And one way you can clean up under your fingernails when you're washing your hand is to just do your fingernails across your palm like this on both sides. That helps get the suds and everything up under your nails and helps to get the dirt and everything off from under your nails. Make sure your nails are at an appropriate length, short, filed, and because if your nails are jagged and rough, you can scratch yourself, and that can cause, you can get scratches on your face. If you scratch your face, in your eye. So make sure your hands stay clean, clean up under your nails, and keep them at a short length. Your teeth. So brush your teeth twice a day, when you wake up and before you go to bed. Germs and bacteria can grow in your mouth, on your teeth, and around your gums every day. So you should gently brush your teeth. On here it says about 3 minutes. I know Kaylin's dentist told her at least 2 minutes, at a minimum, 2 minutes. And when you brush your teeth, you should brush your actual teeth, your gums, your tongue, behind your teeth, and even in your cheeks. Because bacteria, where would you think the most bacteria is in your mouth?
On your teeth.
Yes, on your teeth, but the most bacteria is stored behind your bottom teeth, right in there. Because saliva can collect. Say you're eating candy and you don't go brush your teeth right after you eat your candy. That sugar and bacteria, the saliva collects in the front of your mouth behind your front bottom teeth. So that's where the most bacteria. So make sure you get down off in there really good and brush and floss. You should also floss daily, because floss is going to get any bacteria or any germs that brushing your teeth missed in between your teeth. Listerine is a great thing. If some people don't like to floss every day, I know I was guilty of it at one time, but you need to at least use Listerine, because that can get in between your teeth and kill that bacteria and those germs, okay? Like I said earlier, don't stick anything. Well, this says smaller than your elbow. So nothing, a Q-tip shouldn't go down off in your ear. You can clean around the opening of your ear, but don't stick it down off in your ear. Because when you do that, you got a higher chance of respiratory infections, because all of this is connected. So your ear sinus cavities are all connected to your throat. Because if you notice, how many have you ever had sinus infection? I have. And a lot of that is drainage from your ears and your nose that travels down into your throat. And then guess what? Then your chest starts to hurt. You got a congestion. You have a respiratory infection, because all that's connected and it drains down. So don't go all the way down off in your ear with a Q-tip, because that's going to push that stuff down in your sinuses, and then that's going to clog everything up. So you want to keep all those things clear. Just clean around the opening. You can use a Q-tip. I prefer to use my washcloth, and I just stick my finger in there, and just like that, right in the opening of your ear. Okay. Your hair. Our hair follicles, where your hair comes out of your scalp, it produces oil. So when you sweat, you have oil, your hair grows, and those old skin cells, everything's sloughing off, going away. So what we do is massage our scalp. Caitlin has a little skin condition, a hair condition, so I have to massage her scalp daily. So what I do is I just take the oil and I just rub it in, and it feels really good. So you ever see somebody scratching somebody's scalp with a comb? It feels really good, but that helps your hair to grow. It helps keep your scalp healthy and clean. And I know on here it says to wash your hair daily. We know that's not for African Americans. That's for Caucasian or Hispanic, basically. But we should be washing our hair at least once a week to every 2 weeks. You need to keep your scalp clean. At one time, I had to wash Caitlin's hair every other day. Because of her scalp condition, we had to clean, we had to put medication on it, but you should at least wash your hair at least once a week to once every 2 weeks. Do not, my boys, do not forget to brush your hair. Brush your hair every day. I told Caleb and Elijah, my hair is like theirs now on the side. So I have to brush this every day, 2-3 times a day, to keep it from curling up, rolling up, and just looking bad. You want to keep your hair clean and healthy and looking nice, okay? Your feet. There's a very large collection of glands in your feet that sweats. So you need to wash your feet very well at least once a day. Like I said, in between your toes, around the toenail, you need to clean all of those places very well. You need to dry very well, and you need to dry in between your toes, because that sweat in your shoes, in your socks. Have you ever smelled anybody take their shoes off and their feet stink? Not good. That's because they haven't cleaned their feet well, and that sweat is sitting in their sock, in their shoe, and it does not smell well. People do not want to be around somebody with stinky feet. That's not good. So make sure you wash your feet around, in between your toes, around your toenails, and dry very carefully, okay? All right. How many of you have after school clothes? I know I used to. We would come home. We could not keep the clothes on that we wore to school. We had what we call play clothes. So we had to put on our play clothes because after school, you do your homework and you're going outside, you're playing in the dirt, you're riding on your bike, you're getting sweaty. You don't want to get your nice clothes all dirty. So you have to change your clothes after school. If mom okays it, she may lay some clothes out for you. Go ahead and put those on. Always wear underclothes, t-shirts, your underwear for my girls when you get old enough, your bra. Those things need to be changed daily. You do not wear the same underwear, the same bra, 5 days in a row. Not good because that oil and sweat from your skin gets on that fabric. And like I said, when you have oil, sweat, bacteria, that stuff gets on your skin that can cause skin irritation, rashes. So that's not good. We need to go ahead and make sure we change our underclothes every day. As you sleep at night, some people sweat when they sleep. So try to change your night clothes at least every other day. You don't want to sleep in the same thing day after day after day because that oil and dirt from your skin as you're sleeping, that can get in your clothes, that can get in your bed sheets. You need to change those things regularly. Change your clothes after you shower. Never, ever, never, ever put dirty clothes back on your body. Dirty clothes hold odor. So if you do not change your clothes every day, or if you take a good bath and then put your dirty clothes back on, guess what? That's that odor that's in your clothes from that sweat and that oil, that's going to be, other people can smell it. You may not smell it, but other people will be able to smell it. So make sure you change, shower daily, twice a day, and change your clothes daily. That's the end. Does anybody have any questions? Nobody. Gracie, you're doing the most. Put that down, child.
Does anybody have any questions for Miss Nellie? Miss Nellie, that was good. I'm sitting here thinking, we probably shouldn't have called it something just for the children. That's good for adults. That was some good
Yes.
information.
So I got a question. Who can answer? How long should you brush your teeth?
hmm,
For 2
How long?
minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Where's the most bacteria in your mouth?
On your tongue.
Behind those front teeth at the bottom.
My mama said 3 minutes, and I take 5 minutes.
You brush your teeth for 5 minutes? Well, honey, you need to let me know how you do that because Miss Nellie's not that good. I get them 2
I
minutes.
just be brushing, then brushing,
Okay. So
and then be
back on
brushing
me.
my
Back
teeth,
on me.
and then I have.
Good deal. So shower twice a day. Brush your teeth twice a day. Brush your hair daily. Oil your scalp, massage your scalp daily. Clean clothes every day. Clean underclothes every day. Wash your feet good in between your toes, dry in between your toes. Wash your hands, twinkle, twinkle, little star, or a full minute works. All right. So, but all my babies, all my church babies, they already know this. So, because y'all are always so cute and so clean. So I already know y'all got this down.
That's because the parents had to work so hard before they got on there. Thank you, Miss Nellie. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I have one question, and you may have addressed it. Can you talk about the use of lotion? Because sometimes I know me, I'm bad at this. In the summertime, I don't lotion as much. Cause like, oh, I don't have as much ash. Wintertime is when I have all this ash, and I'm going to lotion then. Can you talk about that real quick?
Lotion daily, every day. What I have learned in Mary Kay that people don't realize, African Americans, Black people, we usually have oilier skin, most of us. Sometimes that's the oil trying to make up for what you don't have on your face. Same thing with your body. You can tend to sweat in areas that are kind of dry because your body's trying to get that moisture. Stop it, Gracie. So moisturize every day. What I do every day when I get out of the shower, even when I take 2-3 showers a day, the first thing I do is grab some Vaseline and put it on my feet, my elbows, and my knees and my hands while my skin is still wet because that helps to lock in the moisture. This time of year, the Johnson's and Johnson's. It's the creamy baby oil. That's really well to lock in moisture. And guess what? Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes can't land on you because it's so slick. So that is the best thing to use during the summertime. It's the Johnson and Johnson's creamy baby oil. It's in a green tube. But yes, moisturize every time you get out of the shower. Whenever you wash your hands, try to put some lotion on your hands every time you wash your hands to keep your hands from getting dry. And because you can get those cracks in your skin and it hurts. So you really want to make sure you moisturize every time water touches your skin, moisturize.
Thank you so much, Nelly. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Y'all give Miss Nelly a hand. Not you don't unmute. Just there we go. There we go. Awesome. Don't unmute. Just thank
And Lady
you.
Pam and Teresa, this not
There
Gracie.
we go.
That lotion from Mr. Jimmy. You have to use that one time a day. It works so well.
Awesome.
Yes.
Good. We'll put that out there. All right. So next, let's have Miss Spikes from Atlanta. Miss Shada. Am I saying your first name right? Shada or Chada? I always
It's Shata. It's
Shata,
pronounced
great.
two ways, Shata and Shada.
Okay, great. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I love doing presentations with children because you all are so innovative. You're so smart and so creative. So if I can have everybody's attention, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I'm going to be talking to you all about communication. So as Lady Pam said to you all, I work in communications. I'm the Director of Public Affairs for the Atlanta Police Department and the Atlanta City Detention Center. And I have a communications consulting business. So I talk and I work with people all day, every day, with different situations, from young people like you to working with adults as well. But there are some things that you all need to know when it comes to communicating as it relates to etiquette. Now, if you notice, the first thing that after Miss Pam introduced me, the first thing I said was good morning, a greeting. Part of what we're doing today is about manners. Give a greeting. And in this virtual space, you can't unmute yourself, but you can always wave as that relationship that you build with the first two things that come out of your mouth. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. That's very important because when you're reaching someone via communications, you need to say hello. You can even say hello. I'm big on good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Another thing you can do is you can ask someone how they're doing, or you can wish them well. You can say, good morning, how are you? Good morning, I hope all is well with you today. At work, everyone laughs at me because when you ask me how I'm doing, you're normally going to get absolutely amazing. So now I'm known all around the department as Miss Absolutely Amazing. And because of that, when I greet people, it tends to make them do something that I love to see, and that is smile. Communication isn't just verbal, it's also non-verbal. So a smile makes a difference. And I need you all to understand, at your age, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. So if I say, Miss Pam, I like your top, do you really think that I like her top? But if I say, Miss Pam, I love your top, I like the top you're wearing, it makes a difference. But if I say it with an attitude or a grumpy face, she's probably not going to believe what's coming out of my mouth. So a couple of things that I want you all to understand: the way you communicate with someone, even as a child, can make a difference as it relates to the relationship that you build. So I love to see children who are mannerable. When I see children who are mannerable, it makes me feel like, okay, this is a child I can work with on a daily basis. Now, don't get me wrong. I've worked with kids who aren't mannerable, but when you work with Miss Spikes, I'm going to teach you the lessons that you need to learn. Now, your generation is a little different than any other generation ever. So this makes you all special. A lot of people are speaking very negatively about the fact that COVID has impacted our world. But I'm a person who tends to turn the negative into a positive. COVID has allowed us to become innovative in how we teach and how we learn. No other young people who have ever had to learn and not touch and see their teachers, not touch and see their family members. So this is a great opportunity for you all to maximize how you communicate with each other. You all now have to rely on things like your phones, your tablets, your laptops, and understand that these are other methods of communicating. I want you all to think about this. When it comes to communicating, I want you to understand there's friendship communication, there's family communication, and there's formal communication. So everybody got that? Let's say it together. Friendship communication, family communication, and formal communication. Everybody got that? So the way you talk to your friends is usually much more relaxed. So I'm going to use one of my really good friends. Her name's Q. We call her Q. When I call her, it's like, hey girl, how you doing? What's up today? How are you? Now, family communication. Although I'm an adult, I'm a big girl, I'm an adult, I still can't just really talk to my mom that same way because there's a certain level of communication, a certain level of respect. So I may say, hey mom, how you doing? But I won't necessarily be as relaxed with my mom. A couple of things. I've noticed a lot of young people use profanity. That's something that you shouldn't do because what it tends to do, it tends to make people think differently of you. And I've been raised that when you use those type of words, that means you don't have a good vocabulary. So with friendship communication, it's a little more relaxed. With family communication, you may be relaxed and you can be open with your parents, but understand you wouldn't be all slouchy when you're talking to your mom, even in person. And I know I want you to be your true self with your parents because they are your number one advocates. But I want you to understand the difference between talking to your mom. You wouldn't say, no, yep. Understand yes and no. Now, some people don't like yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am. But please make sure you're using yes and no, not nah, not yep, not huh, what you say. What, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm from Atlanta. It's like we have our own language. And you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying, Shoutin'? Let's get rid of that type of language, especially when we're talking to our families, specifically adults. And when I say family, that could be church members, that could be your parents, friends. Understand the level of respect that needs to be there. Now, with formal communication, if you're speaking to someone and you're getting to know them and it's your very first time, make sure you use greetings. Make sure you use yes, no. Understand that you're building a relationship. And that relationship is determined the moment that someone speaks to you and the moment that they see you. So I'm glad that Miss Nellie talked about your personal hygiene and your appearance. Understand, we should not be judgmental, but we do live in a world where people look at how you look. Now, I know for a lot of young girls, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way, to look the way that you see people look on social media. I say to you, be your true, authentic self. My mother would always say, show up clean, show up with a smile, and be well-mannered. Those are the main things that you all need to understand, especially at your age. Show up clean, show up with a smile, and show up well-mannered. And here's another reason why I need you all to understand why your communication is so important. You may be helping someone else your age learn how to communicate better. Couple of things I want to hit on, and I know Ms. Karen's going to talk about your cell phones, but want to also talk about, because I work for the police department, what you do with these cell phones. It never goes away. It can be found. And I want you to understand because a lot of you all are doing work from your cell phones, and I used to teach, I've noticed that students would use emojis in formal emails to me as their professor. When you're talking to an adult, your friends, you can use emojis, but when you're talking to an adult, avoid using things like emojis and slang, especially when it comes to you all doing your work. Because remember, I told you all are a generation that is doing things that no one has ever done before. So remember that. I want you to also think about, when it comes to cell phones, screenshots. People can take screenshots of what you do. And that's a part of how you communicate. If I were to see a screenshot from something that the Perry girls put up, and I would say, and it's not positive, I would say, okay, Perry girls, I think we need to make a phone call to your parents. So remember, what you say and do, you may think you deleted it, but someone else may not. But that's another form of communication. But I brought this up because I work in the police department, and there are laws. Different states have different laws. And we noticed that there are young people who are sending pictures that they should not send. Those pictures may be of body parts. Those pictures may be of someone else. Please understand that those are violations of law. So I need you all to understand that. And the main thing I want you to remember, when it comes down to it, be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of how you look when you say it. Be mindful that communication is 90% nonverbal. The looks we put on our faces, the scowls and the frowns. Understand that that plays a role in how you communicate and how you communicate to other people. So one other thing is, remember, not just be mindful of what you say, but be mindful of how you say it. I started off with that. I want to end with that, with you being mindful of how you say things and understanding that when you are communicating with others, did somebody unmute? Okay. Be mindful that when you are communicating with others, it is an example of your parents. Be mindful of that. If I see, and I use the Perry girls, I'm going to use Caleb and Elijah. Caleb and Elijah, be mindful, and Gracie, I saw a couple of other names, so those are the names I see on my screen. Be mindful of the way you communicate and the way you carry yourself is an example of your parents, an example of your family and friends, an example of your church and your school. So I want you to take all of those things into consideration when you are out talking to people, even if it's just a hello. Let me tell you all something we did with the police department. We had these gift cards that we gave out for $50 in free groceries. That might not be a lot to you all, but a parent, $50 in free groceries is a lot because you all can eat, especially now knowing that you all are at home every day. So we did this experiment. I was out with one of our police majors and I said, when you look at someone and if they speak to you, you're going to give them a free gift card. So we went through 5 people and only one person spoke. One. He spoke to them and they just looked at him. It was 5 people. The one person who spoke is who got the gift card. So it's important that when you speak and then when you communicate, eye contact is very important. Also, sometimes we don't want to look at people in their eyes. Look at their nose. They won't know that you're looking at their nose, but eye contact is important. Your body language and your gestures. Because remember, I said how you say it. Your body language plays a part. I'm a person who I tend to talk with one hand, and that's because I teach. I've taught for 13 years. So I tend to talk with my hands, but I have to tell myself, just use one hand and not both. I tend to tell my young ladies, especially when you're speaking to someone, do not direct a plane. And do not direct the plane. Do not direct the chorus. Because this is what we tend to do. Well, let me tell you, and let me this, and no, minimize. And it's one thing, you can use your hands when you're delivering. If you see, when I deliver to you, I put my hands out because that's something I want you to grasp. But if I'm just having a regular conversation, my hands are down. My hands are not up and all in the way. And Miss Monique laughed because she knows sometimes it's just, girl, and let me, and we roll in our necks. And guys too, I'm beginning to notice that more young men, instead of using their hands, your body language is one of you puff up. Don't, as I always say, don't show your hand. You guys tend to puff up and you want to show your machismo, that you're macho. Don't do that, because sometimes it can intimidate people. Even for young ladies, when you're doing this, you can intimidate someone. So I said all of that to remind you that sometimes it's how you say it. Now, I'm going to open up for any questions. If you have some questions, you can put them in the chat, or if you raise your hand. Now, this is important. Now, remember, we're talking about etiquette, not just communication. Miss Monique is going to talk about the social media and Zoom etiquette. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. You can put it in the chat. And by the time we're done, one of us will make sure we get to it, okay? If no questions now, I know you might have some later. If there are none, please be mindful that I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for this opportunity and I thank you. And if I don't ever get a chance to see you all in person, I actually drove through Birmingham yesterday to get where I am. Be mindful that I pray that you all have a successful school year. And I say thank you. Now, before I go, I did that for a reason. I always say thank you, but I did that because I'm giving my closing as I leave you all. I'm still going to be on the screen, but I'm giving a closing. When you leave someone, especially if someone has done something for you, make sure you say thank you. Please and thank you are an important part of communication. Some people say it's old school, but I promise you, you can get way more thumbs up and more likes from people just by saying please and thank you. So I appreciate you all. I will be on the live. I'm going to mute myself and turn it back over to Lady Pam.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Once again, this is something that adults need to know as well. But I like how you talked about it's just not verbal communication, it's how you say it. The hand gestures, you are so right, because, a lot of times it's intimidating. If somebody's doing all this in my face, I'm going to back down. I'm going to kind of like, okay, I'm going to exit quickly. Because I don't know what's about to pop off, but that was really good. And guys, Miss Spikes is so great. She does this for a living. I told her we're going to always have her back on to do something. So thank you for the information. And like she said, if y'all have any questions, put them in the chat room, okay? And then we'll address them. But that was great. That was great. Now, Miss Karen Derrick, she is up next. I think we have a couple of people who have cell phones here. And so she's gonna really help us and help everyone, help us parents too, about how we need to use our cell phones and not use our cell phones. So Miss Karen, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to join you this morning. So today I am going to talk to you about cell phone etiquette. And I have a few objects that I'm going to show you that remind me of the importance of cell phone etiquette. So I do have my cell phone here, and I use this cell phone all the time. In fact, not only do I use it for personal reasons, but I also use it at work as well. And when I was your age, we had a different type of phone. In fact, I have one of those with me. This is the kind of phone that we used when I was your age. And I didn't have the luxury of being able to walk around with it like I walk around with this. I was very limited on where I could go with this phone because it had to be attached to a wall. So as far as I could walk away would be as far as the cord would go. And I'll tell you, I had to learn phone etiquette at a very young age using this phone. And now you even have even more things that you need to consider using a cell phone. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. In fact, it is a huge responsibility. So the first thing that I have is actually a picture of a bell. And this bell reminds me of how important it is that I know when to either turn off the ringer on my phone or to silence it. Because there are times that I do need to turn my cell phone off, that I do need to silence the ringer so that no one else can hear it, especially when I go to church. I definitely want to turn that off or turn the ringer off. Back in the days when I could go to the movies, I hope to be able to go to the movies again soon, I would have to make sure that I had it turned off. Or if I go to a friend's house for dinner, I'm not going to have that ringer on because I certainly don't want to interrupt that conversation that I'm having with others. So those are just a few of the places where I'd want to either turn off that ringer or silence it, turn off the phone altogether or silence the ringer, all right? So the next object that I have that reminds me of cell phone etiquette happens to be a fork and a spoon. Now, what in the world would a fork and a spoon have to do with my cell phone? Well, let me tell you, if you are eating dinner with others, don't place your mobile device on the table, because what's going to happen If you set that phone on the table, you're going to keep glancing at it, right? You're going to keep looking at it, make sure you don't have messages from some friend or something's popped up on social media. You don't want that. You want to make sure that that cell phone, while you are eating, is completely off the table. All right. So the next thing I actually have a basket, because this is where your phone needs to go during a meal. Even when you're having dinner with your families, place all of your cell phones in a basket and don't worry about it while you're eating. Put it away and have face-to-face conversations at that dinner table. Okay. I know I have a son and he's in college, and when he comes home, he thinks he can have that cell phone out on the table, but no, that's a perfect time for us to catch up and talk to one another. Okay, the next object I'm going to show you is my watch. What does a watch have to do with a cell phone? Well, we need to be respectful of other people's time when we are either texting or talking to them on the telephone or on the cell phone. And it's always really good that whenever you greet someone, whether on your phone or text, good morning, is this a good time to talk? Or is this a good time for me to ask you a question? Because, especially adults, a lot of them are very busy, or you may be on a virtual class, and you don't want your friends interrupting you by texting you or calling you on the cell phone. So think about other people's time and how important it is. And so you may want to start off with, is this a good time for us to communicate? Is this a good time for us to talk? All right, my next object is my work badge. I know that in my job, I may be in and out of classrooms, or I may be in and out of Google Meets with virtual classrooms, or I may be in meetings at central office or in my department that I'm in. And so my own children know that in my line of work, if they need to call me, then it really needs to be important. Because especially if I'm modeling a lesson in a classroom, we don't want my cell phone to go off all the time, do we? No. So I also have to think about my friends and my family, and while they're at work, is it really absolutely necessary that I text or call them, or can I wait until after work? Okay, so that's something to consider as well. Next thing. This ball reminds me of the moon, right? And oh, I love nights when the moon is shining late at night. But you know what? A lot of people are sleeping at that time, right? Is that the time to text or call someone on their cell phone? Is late at night? No, not at all. In fact, I work for a school system, so I go to bed early. Just like I did when I was in school, I had my set bedtime. And because I get up early and go to my schools early in the morning, my bedtime's 8 o'clock. And my friends know not to call me past 8 p.m. because they know I'm going to be in bed. They know not to text me past 8 p.m. And so just think about that moon shining when the cycle of the moon's up there, fully bright, and think, oh, I don't need to be calling. I don't need to be texting that late at night. All right, next thing. A megaphone. What would a megaphone have to do with a cell phone? Well, if you're talking on your cell phone, be mindful of everyone that's around you, because you don't want to talk too loud and let others listen to your side of the conversation. So unless your conversation is of interest to everyone else in the room, it's important to walk away and to find a private spot to have that conversation. Okay. Next thing, your ringtone. You know, you can have a special ringtone for your cell phone, for the phone to ring. You can have a special ringtone for text messages. You can have a special ringtone for just about anything. But you have to think, is that ringtone appropriate for others to hear around me? Is it blasting out really loud? Or is it at the lowest setting where I can still hear it? So it's so important to think about that ringtone. Be mindful of it. Make sure it's appropriate. Okay, and at the lowest setting so you can still hear it.
And
The
so
next one.
Miss
Yeah.
Karen, I guess the type of song is important too, because we don't want the song to have all kind of words and, you know, shake a booty music kind of stuff. Right? Okay, all right.
Exactly. And I know that I've been in rooms before where even adults' cell phone, the ringer, is so inappropriate. It's the wrong kind of music. And it has some inappropriate words in there. Or even something that is an annoying buzzer that is going off. And it is so loud that, you know, it interrupts my thinking, you know, and so we have to be so mindful of that. All right, where did my next object go? I had to really spread things out. Okay, the next one was actually a big question mark. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, so the big question mark. Now, I know that I have received text and I have also received phone calls where the person on the other end of the line will say, "Who is this? Who is this?" Well, is that appropriate? If they're calling me and they're asking me, "Who is this?" Or "What's up?" Or "Yeah," and I don't even know who's on the other end of the line. So it's always so important to say either good morning or good evening. This is Mrs. Derrick. And am I speaking with Miss Jones? Or may I please speak to Miss Jones? If you know that you are calling a cell phone and you're not quite sure if that is the exact phone number that you're calling, you know, make sure that or a lot of times, even when my children were younger, their friends would use their mom's cell phone, call my cell phone, and they would say, "Mrs. Derrick, you know, this is John. May I please speak with Porter?" And I would say, "Yes, you may." And so it's so important to be able to identify and understand who that person is on the other end, because sometimes when I get a call, it doesn't have the caller ID pop up. So I really don't know who sometimes it is on the other end. All right. Identifying is important. Oh, the next one. Microphone. You want to make sure that when you're calling someone, oh, I turned my ringer off and listen, it's ringing. Apologize. It's a good example. This right here is a microphone. You want to make sure that when you do talk to someone, that you speak clearly and that you are not mumbling, especially when you leave a message, okay? You want to be clear even with text messages. You want to make sure that you are spelling those words correctly so that they understand what that message is. You want to take the time to read over and proofread that text message before you send it, okay? So you want to be clear. And I have a paper airplane. So when it comes to leaving a message, you definitely want to make sure that you state who it is. You want to make sure that you want to explain the reason for your message or the reason for your phone message, because you want them to understand the message that you were leaving, okay? And anytime you end a conversation, whether it be a text or you're talking to them on the telephone, thank them for their time. Say thank you, have a nice day, have a nice afternoon, before ending your conversation. Okay. And always remember, it is so important to always be kind. Okay. Any questions?
Any questions, put them in the chat room. Miss Karen, that was really good. And let me ask you this, what about, because now that children have cell phones, apps,
Oh.
what what should we as parents, I know this is for children, but even what should kids look out for to say, oh, this may not, I know my friend told me about this app, and then I download on my phone, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at this. Can you give us some pointers on that?
Yes, actually, I can. That is something that I talk to actually students about all the time, especially in elementary school, because all of these apps that you see out there, you have to be very careful of the data that they're collecting. And so all of these apps actually have to post in what's called their privacy policy what ages that kids can begin using that app. And a great place to go is Common Sense Media. And they have a section, Common Sense Media, I believe it's / privacy, but if you search Common Sense Media privacy, you'll be able to find it. And you can enter an app, you can enter even a website, and it is going to tell you what age it is appropriate for. So for example, with Facebook or Instagram, you really need to be 13 or over, because so many of those apps that are out there right now are not for children under the age of 13 because of the data that it is actually collecting from our children. Okay. And then you can also get into, especially with social media, you need to understand what is appropriate to post, not giving out private information. So if you are on, in fact, Snapchat, you have to be, I can't remember, it may even be 16 years or older in order to have Snapchat.
I thought you have to be 10 years old.
I have to look at that privacy policy. In fact, going to Common Sense Media and making sure that you are old enough to use that app. Because too many times you're posting something and you may be giving out private information, and you're too young to be giving out your full name, your address, your phone number. You don't ever want to give out any of that information online, whether it be an app, and online when you're registering for an account. So because you do have to register for those things, and they do ask for private information such as your name, phone number. Okay, so you never want to give out your age. If you are under 13, you don't need to sign up for anything that is asking for your birth date, your first name and your last name, your phone number, your address. Don't do it. Stay away from it. Wait until you're old enough. Okay.
And we had one question in the chat room. Is it appropriate to text when you are in the same household? Me and my husband are bad at that.
No, don't be texting. If they're in their same room with you, please don't do that. Please, one another, look at each other in the eyes and have that conversation, because you're missing out on so much, right? You're missing out on hearing their voice and looking at each other in the eyes, and communication, just like what Ms. Spike says, is more than the words. It's your facial expression, it's your body language. And so you don't want that phone
Yes.
in front of your face and you're just texting one another. Smile and have that conversation.
Ms. Spikes, you had something? I see your hand raised.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute, but I think the person with Sydney, it's two young ladies. One of them has their hand raised. I'll go to her first.
Okay.
How old do you have to be to get electronics?
How old do you have to be to get electronics? I think you're talking about a cell phone.
The cell phone, that's between you and your parents on when they feel like it is the right time for you to have electronics. I know that my children had to wait until they were in upper middle school to have a cell phone. I believe my daughter, we waited until she was 7th grade.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah, I'm going to agree to answer your question is I do know I have a cousin who's 7. She has a phone, but it only dials 3 people. So her phone has limitations, and as she does well in school, her mother has increased since that time. She's increased it, I believe, to 6 people she can call. That being her mother, her father, her grandmother, her aunt, and 2 of her friends. So she increased it based on her responsibility. Because let me say this: having a electronic device is also about having electronic responsibility. And working in the police department, we do see oftentimes there are situations where young people engage in arguments over the phone, and not just young people your age, even adults. But we also see situations in which there are predators who come to children, mostly your age, via the phone or these apps, as well as even email. So it's going to be important for each one of you all to be responsible users of your cellular device. And I saw someone said, how do you avoid, Ivana said, how do you avoid viruses? She just put a question in the chat. That's a couple of different things. It depends on your device. Some devices, Apple products don't get as many viruses as non-Apple products, but there are different apps and different ways to avoid them. However, oftentimes the best versions you have to pay for, and that's something you will need to discuss with your parents to get the best protection on your cell phones and on your other electronic devices. So I just wanted to remind you all about the safety aspect, because we get videos that come into us of situations with children, and that's because they use their phones and engaging in fights. And let me say this, since we're talking about this, nowadays we see a lot of people, when something happens, a fight, for instance, instead of calling 911 or a responsible adult, they pull out their cell phone and they record the fight while someone is being injured. In some areas, some school districts have made it a policy that if you record the fight, you just stand there and record it, you will be disciplined as well. So they want to do that because they need to engage you to, if you see something, say something. And that's something not just at school, but even out in public. If you see something, say something. Got it? Let me see some thumbs up. All right, thank you, Caleb, Gracie, Elijah, the Perry girls, Sydney. I need Ariana and Adaria. Come on, y'all, focus. All right, y'all know I was a teacher for a long time. All right, I'm gonna toss it back to Lady Pam.
And
No,
may I
don't.
add one more thing about viruses?
Oh, go ahead.
And Ms. Spikes, I wanted to chime in on the age appropriate cell phones. Gracie has a cell phone that is pre-programmed with family members, only because I have health issues. So to answer, I don't know which girl asked the question, but she has a cell phone that is programmed, and with Pastor Mason and Lady Pam's numbers as well. But only because I have health issues is the reason why she has a phone, and it's pre-programmed with important numbers for that reason only. But sometimes we did have to take her phone because she wanted to text Lady Pam at night. But I'm so glad you all are having this class, because sometimes she does get off kilter, but she has the only child syndrome, because her brothers, she had a brother that turned 20 today, and she has another brother that's 18. So she feels like she's the only child because she is the only one that's at home. So in some situations, it is good because she was able to use her phone appropriately when I did have a medical crisis. So she used the phone for the right reason. But at one point in time when she got bored, she did want to just have a textathon. So yeah, I appreciate y'all having this etiquette class.
I take it to my.
You know, it's okay. Children inspire me. So it's okay. I get the best ideas from children. But go ahead, Miss Karen, what were you about to say?
Say too, never click on a link that one, you don't know where that link came from or what that link is supposed to be taking you to. Because many links out there, if it's just a link that's popping up in a, let's say, an email message that you have no idea who this email is coming from, those links may contain viruses. So never ever click on a link where you do not know who it's coming from. And even our rule of thumb, even with our teachers, if you get a link and you feel like you know who that person is that sent you that email, you may want to check with them first to make sure that they actually did send that link to them. Because a lot of times, like I said, links contain viruses. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Karen. Great information. I had one little quick question. So is it okay, and I get this all the time, people think I know what this shorthand in text messages is. I mean, and sometimes to me it's too much, it's overkill. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I'm having to text them, what does that mean? Why not just type it out? Is it okay to use, I don't know what you call it, shorthand? Is it okay to do that?
I personally do not use any shorthand with adults when it concerns business.
Right.
Maybe with a friend I would, but even then, I personally, and maybe I'm old school, but I don't. And I tell students, not to use the shorthand. I had a student once who, even in his writer's notebook, he was trying to use all that shorthand, LOL and everything in his writing. I said, no, we don't do that. But I prefer to stay away from it, even with my closest friends, and definitely not when you are with an adult and it is professional. I would never use that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, first of all, children, thank y'all so much. Y'all are just being wonderful today. Y'all are engaging. Y'all are paying attention. So we have one more speaker. We have Miss Monique, and she's going to sum it up. She's going to wrap it up. She's going to talk about how to behave on Zoom, because a lot of us were in class virtually this year. And so that was pretty different. We didn't really have to focus as much, and it was just so much leeway to kind of do whatever. And so even adults, it's hard for us to be on Zoom sometimes. So Miss Monique, she's going to wrap this up, and she is going to teach us really how we need to behave and act on Zoom.
All right, first thing first, everybody stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, and stretch, stretch, stretch. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Shake it, shake it. Adarian, I don't see you up. Up, Adarian, up. Shake it out. Get some blood flowing. You've been sitting. Shake your hands. Ariana, Cindy, you gonna move? Shake it out. Shake it out. All right. Breathe. Relax. Release. Okay. Now everybody sit back down. Very, very, very good. You do deserve a break. You have been excellent today. And I'm gonna open my screen. So we are now going to talk about how you should act when you are in Zoom. Zoom etiquette. One moment here. So I'm going to go over just a few things. And first of all, y'all already know how Miss Monique is. Eyes on me, Sydney, Ariana, let's pay attention. That's very important that when you're engaging on Zoom, that you give the person that's talking or presenting your undivided attention. So if we was in children's church, I'll be right in front of you saying, eyes on me, right? Okay, same thing. All right, here we go. Let's go. What to do when in a Zoom meeting or class. Zoom norms. Every day your teacher comes on, she has given you the expectations of what she expects you to do while you're in Zoom class. What are they? Instructions from your teacher on how to conduct yourself in class. All right, here we go. Here are some of the class norms for me. Dress for school. It's important to make your mind know that you're going to school, even though you're in a comfortable setting, because in your brain, when you guys go home, it's relaxation time, it's fun time, it's sleep time, it's eat time. Typically, your brain is not engaged to learn. Now, immediately when you get to school, your brain knows, hey, I'm going to be in a desk, I'm going to be learning, my teacher's up. So now you have to trick your brain. You have to dress for school, get up, do the whole process as if you're going to school so that your brain can get ready to learn and be engaged to get stimulated. Next thing, stay muted unless speaking. It is a big distraction if you come off Zoom. Sometimes you could take other people off of what's going on, but it's a distraction when you come off mute. Sometimes it happens on accident. I've seen that happen, but a lot of times we're pushing the button. So we don't want to be muted unless you're speaking and you have permission. Be present and participate. It's important to be present. That means you're here with your body. Now I need you to be here with your mind. Okay, so that means your eyes have to engage with me. You have to be paying attention to what's going on, all of the above. So sometimes we're distracted while we're on Zoom. We're on our phones over here. We're doing this, and teachers do it too. We've got 4 different emails coming in, a text message, all of the above. But most of the time, we're adults. We've been trained over the years to multitask, and sometimes we don't do it well. But the whole important thing is you have to engage. So you've got to be present and participate. Participate means pay attention, participate in the chat, talk, ask questions, have a whole conversation as if you were in person. Be respectful. It is so important that you are respectful, especially to your teachers or whoever is presenting to you, and also to each other. Being respectful is so important. It goes a long way in life. If you don't have respect, life can be hard. You know, old people say you got a long road to hoe of you. That means it's gonna be knocking roads. It's gonna be hard because you don't have respect, and you need respect to be able to learn how to communicate, like Ms. Shada said, which is important, and be able to promote yourself in the next levels of life. Be kind in your comments. A lot of times in my Zoom class, I don't give people options to communicate to each other so that I can man the chat, but they can put something out there in the whole chat and everybody can see it. At that time, be kind in your comments. Be careful how you speak to people. It'd be just like Miss Shada said, I like your outfit, Miss Pam. Same thing with chat talk. You can be very encouraging with your words, but it's important when you engage with people with words that you're kind. Hey, beautiful, I like your outfit, man. That's nice haircut, Elijah. That big saying, that's some color in your hair. That's nice. It's always good to be kind in your comments. It's always good to be kind in your words, period. Your deeds and your words should always be kind. Kind. And there's some people that are not going to be kind to you, and like we already know that. But you, like Jesus said, turn the other cheek, walk the other way and ignore them, and said bless you and keep it moving. Now that's my thing. My interpretation of turn the other cheek is when they say something wayward to you, or you be like, I just came in here this morning. I don't know what happened. What's going on with them? Turn the other cheek, walk the other direction, and have a good day. All right, next thing, my big thing. I have 90 kids, okay, in class typically every day. I hate looking at black boxes. So if you're in Zoom, just like I'm here, I showed up. I want your cameras on. I want your eyes on me. I want to engage with a human being, not a box with your beautiful name on it, but I want to see your facial expressions. I want to know that you're getting what I'm telling you, that you're engaging or you understand, or that something is happening between us interacting with each other. So my big thing is cameras on. Ms. Shada said it with communication, how important eye contact is. It's important that when you're on Zoom that you have the same type of eye contact as when your camera's on and your eyes are on the presenter. Because if you're looking around like this, 9 times out of 10, you've gotten distracted and you've missed something that may be important for your test, for your learning. I have kids ask me, what are we doing? I've put it in the chat. I've said it out 2 or 3 times. The instructions are there, but because they're everywhere but engage with me, they miss something. So that is a big point that I will remove you from my class if your camera's not on, because I think it's just a showing respect. There's nothing that's important for you to have a camera off at any time as a child. Now, if you're at work and there's something going on, I have parents that come to conferences and they're in wherever they're at working and they can't have, the background showing. I respect that. I can understand that. But If you're a child, there's not any reason why you shouldn't have your camera on when it's class time, okay? And again, that just your teachers need to see that you're getting what they're saying. So if your camera's off, I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you're engaging. So in 8th grade in our school, we remove you from class and call your parent like they're not in class. So you can get a 0 for the day just for not being attentive and having your camera on, because it's that important to learn those skills, even as a child, to learn how to be present, be participants, and be kind and be engaging. That's important on anything in life. You're going to have to learn how to do that. All right. It's almost like going to church and Pastor Mason's preaching and you on your phone, you ain't paying attention to the scriptures on the screen, or Miss Mariah's up teaching like we used to do, and you're not paying attention to the scriptures on the screen, the notes, how many points it is, what are we learning about, what's the Bible character. That's very disrespectful. People can feel some type of way about that. And I know you know what I'm saying when I say I feel some type of way. Y'all know that's y'all saying, I feel some type of way. Well, that makes adults feel that way too when you're not engaging and you're not on camera and you're not paying attention. All right, next thing, if you have a background issue, you can create a virtual background. So when you create a virtual background, it's to minimize your distractions or what's going on in your background. I do have some children that have 5 siblings all in class in one actual room learning. So they actually do need virtual background. So what's behind them cannot be seen. So today I actually I didn't put my virtual background on because I typically have one up. So if you guys need to learn how to create one, there are several videos on actual line that you can do to create it. Now, typically, if you have an iPad or a Apple device, it's usually 3 dots and it'll say, virtual background. If you have a Mac laptop like I do, I click on my camera, there's a little arrow there and it says choose virtual background. So I'm going to choose the virtual background I have. I'm going to click on the one, and you do have to save your pictures for it to do it. And I'm going to click on one and then it should automatically go to it. So you see, there we go. So I put on the background and typically it looks better than this, but I've got a background now. So it's actually up. And if you see it there, it's already up there. So now you can see it. My background is not showing. So if you need one of those, you definitely can go online. There's several thousand that you can actually choose from. And sometimes you have to play with it. This camera is different. I have several because I have different accounts and typically different devices that I'm on depending on school. So if I'm on my iPad, it's already set. If I'm on this device, I have several. If I'm on my actual computer that I teach from, it's usually that little background that looks like the universe. So there are different things that you can actually do to set a background and make sure your background is not distractful to other people, okay? And I think I pulled up some. So also things to help you engage in class. If you have several people in the home, several siblings or anything like that, definitely get headphones, earbuds. Y'all know I love the Dollar Tree. Here's some here. Dollar Tree has some that actually have a mic on it and earbuds, and they actually work really good. And they come in blue, red, white, and black, as far as what I can see. But they work wonders. They're $1. So you can go there and get you some if you don't already have some. Some of you guys have Apple earbuds and things like that. It's great. Paper and pen to take notes. It doesn't matter what class you're in, even if they have a slideshow or presentation that you're clicking on, there's something about you when you're writing something and connecting with it that it helps you remember and retain the information. And also it keeps your body and your mind engaged in what you're learning. A lot of times we've gotten used to just watching things. I don't know if you actually grab everything when you're just watching, but when you're writing something, it seems like a part of it is retained and taken with you. So I have a notebook everywhere I go. If y'all know me from children's church, I always have a bag full of notebooks or pens or paper. So that's why I like notebooks, but writing notes help me remember what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Also, keep a charger for your device close. I've noticed with my kids in school, their iPads go dead. They go dead. So I literally set up charging stations for them to do that. That's going to be one of the things, because you're on technology a lot, 8 hours, some of you guys every day or more, it's going to go where the battery is starting to get weak or dead. So it's important to keep you charging a device close to your device so that you don't disconnect or get yourself removed out of class. I've had that happen. People just drop out of class. I'm like, what happened to them? And it's either the internet connection or it's the charging. So now they have gotten really well at just texting Miss Tate, my device went out, it's charging, or they email. And I'm glad to see that they're finding ways to make sure that they communicate with me. And that means the world to me, to know that you're adult enough or mature enough to know to communicate that something went wrong. So that's important because, again, your teacher wants you there every day learning, okay? All right, so today is Saturday. I kept it short, sweet, and simple, but it's important. It's important that you make a very good presentation of yourself, even on Zoom camera, with your teachers, because even though we're not face to face, they're still looking to judge you based on how you show yourself to be, whether you're engaged, whether you're doing your assignments, whether you're doing what you're supposed to do. And that's very important. So back in the day, your parents would tell you dress to impress or dress like you look like you're going somewhere. The same thing I would say with Zoom. Come on Zoom ready and like you're ready to learn and like you're going somewhere in life. Because that's important. Your attitude will make your altitude. So if you have a positive mindset, a positive attitude, I can attitude, you're happy, you know God has you, and you come in here, that means that when you get connected with the teacher, what she feeds you will have you to grow, and you'll get higher and higher and higher. You'll excel in areas that you need to excel in. So that's very important. So be blessed. That is it.
Thank you, Miss Monique. Awesome. I need everybody to not unmute yourself, but I need y'all to give all of these speakers a wonderful round of applause. Keep muted, keep muted. Awesome. Awesome. All right, let me take care of this. All right. Thank y'all. Thank you to all of our speakers. This was great information because I just kind of realized how all of this kind of ties together. So when you're on Zoom, you want to make sure you have put on some new clothes, some clean clothes. You want to make sure you brushed your teeth. You want to make sure your cell phone has been silenced. And you want to make sure you tell the teacher and all of your classmates good morning. Thank y'all for putting all of your cameras on. Thank you for not yelling out. Thank you for doing just really implementing all this stuff. And so listen, we want you not just to pay attention and do this right now. So come Monday, come August of next year, we want y'all to remember all of this stuff. And listen, just in case you forget, and this is for you and your parents, this video is always going to be on our church page, and it's always going to be on YouTube. So you can always go back and look at it and say, you know what? I forgot what Miss Nellie said about brushing my teeth, how many seconds. You can go back and look at that. Miss Nellie, there was one question, I'm sorry, that I missed in the chat room. I know you're driving, so please be careful. But someone asked about shea butter. Is shea butter, is that okay?
Shea butter is, yes, it's really okay to use. I would avoid it on my face, but hands, feet, legs, arms, back, all that good stuff. Yes, you can use shea butter. It helps to lock in moisture a lot better also.
Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Now, children, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat room. Don't unmute yourself because we have quite a few of you on here, and we don't need 3 people unmuting themselves at one time. So do y'all have any questions that y'all, before we log off, any questions? And do our speakers want to say anything before we close? I do want to say one thing, and I was reminded of a previous speaker we had, and this is what she said. She said, children are not out of control. She said parents are out of control. So I think it's good that we're teaching y'all to do it, but also we as parents, we got to make sure that we're enforcing it. So when I said this was not just good for the children, this was good for me as well, to know all these things and really enforce, okay, since you have your cell phone in the bathroom, I need you to put it on 2 minutes and brush your teeth. We have to be studying enforcing it. So to our speakers, is there anything else that y'all would like to say before we close out this segment? Thank y'all so much. It's great information. Truly
really
enjoyed.
quick. I'm sorry, Lady Pam.
Yeah.
Really quick, I'm super duper proud of all of y'all. Y'all have come on here. Y'all have paid attention. Y'all have had your cameras on. I am really, really proud of how y'all have behaved today. I just have to say that, because even in children's church, y'all have always been some of the most attentive and smart kids that I have ever seen. So thank y'all for being so awesome today.
Thank you, Miss Nellie. Anybody else? Miss Shada, Miss Karen, Monique, y'all want to say anything before we dismiss?
No, just thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you for being available. Miss Shada.
I wanted to say to each of the kids, oftentimes at this age, you're kind of like, why do I have to do this? Why are my parents making me do it? Let me tell you something. You're going to look back on this day and you're going to say, I gained some information. Or you're going to look at somebody else and say, they should have been on this Zoom to learn what I learned. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take one hand up. Take one hand, everybody. I want you to give yourself a pat on the back. And I know that may seem like something for really young people, but I want you to believe in you and understand that what you're doing is going to help you. Pour into you as much as you can. And I know you're like, but I want you to remember that what you're learning today is going to make you a better person, a better individual, a better leader. Because here's the thing I want you all to remember. There's somebody your age, maybe somebody younger, maybe even somebody older who's watching you, and you may be the only Bible that someone ever reads. So y'all remember that. That's my motto, that I may be the only Bible that someone ever reads. And if someone wants to know about God, they want to know about doing things the right way, they can see it through me. So someone's looking at you. So believe in yourself, and thank you all again for having me.
Thank you for being with us. And Miss Monique, I'm gonna have you close out in just a second, but one of the panelists want to know if we could all talk to each other. I will say, because of the time, we can't do it today. However, Pastor Mason does have story time every Wednesday at 6. And so that's a good time for y'all to kind of chat with each other and talk. So Ivana, I can get with your mom, and if that time is good for you, then I can give you the information. So I'm sorry, Ivana, not this time, okay? Okay. All right, Miss Monique, if you could close out with some words and then just a closing prayer when you get through.
And Ivana, we have Children's Church at 9:45 tomorrow. So you can definitely come and talk to everybody at that time. You guys, I believe in you. I know that you guys are going to do exploits. I can't wait to see what you do in your future. Keep in mind everything that you've learned today, and you keep doing it every day, and you'll get better and better and better and better and wiser and wiser and wiser. Okay. All right, guys, this was awesome, y'all. I'm so glad y'all came. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pray. Father God, we just thank you for this awesome opportunity today. God, you're so good to us, and we thank you for being our all in all, God. We thank you for keeping us, for providing for us, for loving us, for giving us grace and mercy. God, for always being there for us. We thank you for that. So we thank you for the information that was shared today, God. We thank you for the people that share the information, every speaker, God. We ask you to bless them, God. We ask you to pour out your blessings on them, God. And we thank you for the opportunity to just come together, God, and learn and grow. And we thank you, God, for these children, God. We thank you that the words have been put on good ground, God, that they keep growing. God, we thank you that because they know you, they will do exploits, notable feats in their life, God. We thank you that every gift you put on the inside of them, that they'll walk it out, God. We thank you for favor on their lives, God. We thank you that they'll be Daniel's kids. They'll be 10 times wiser, God. We thank you that you will order their steps, God. And we thank you for covering as they come and go for the rest of their lives, God. We thank you for your promises on our life, God. In Jesus' mighty, powerful, matchless name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Monique. Thank you, Miss Karen, Miss Shada, Miss Nellie. And kids, see y'all tomorrow, 9:45. Y'all have a great day. Bye. Bye. Step and say bye. Bye. Thank you, ladies.